Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the Hori. Yes, the Hori, the Japanese tier 10 tank destroyer, which is actually a very, very good tank. Even when you don't mean to play well in this tank, you actually can play really, really well. Now, the thing about this tank is it is a very difficult tank to play. But you will get bounces. Like, you haven't got the armor profile. You haven't got the greatest of armors, but the armor can work. And the thing with the armor, it's like accidental armor. So you bounce a lot of things which you don't even really try to bounce. It's one of those things that just happens. So the two games that we're going to show, I wanted to show both of them. One was, of course, of my oneself, and one was a replay. Both of them are losses, which is why I really sort of wanted to show both replays, because it isn't just about the damage caused or anything like that, but I wanted you to also see how the armor profile can work on the tank. So the tank, as I've said, is very, very good. The hit points, you've got 1900, and your front armor is actually 260 millimeters. So it's actually very, very good. But there are a lot of weak points, but you've got to make it not easy for the enemy. You've got to sort of move about and try and sort of support your armor with you moving about, with your mobility. You've got 100 mil on the side, 60 on the rear. So yeah, it's more about the front plate. Now, your damage per minute is 3,093. That is with me running calibrated shells, so that's not too bad at all. Your reload is just 10.8 seconds, which isn't bad. And your penetration, I think, is really, really good at 335 for your standard AP and 410 for your premium AP. Now, your HE is 92. Now, what I also like about the tank, which I've always stated, is about the damage that you do. So your normal AP is 560, and your premium AP with 410 pen is 545. So you're only losing 15 damage. Like, you're only losing 15 damage, but you're gaining all that pen. So you may as well just run the premium rounds. If you've got credits, you may as well just run premium rounds. Now, that is a good thing, but also a bad thing, because it does make people just run around with premium shells. So I don't know why they have done that. I do think they need to either increase the standard AP to a little bit higher. That should be like 600. The standard AP should be about 600, and then the premium AP should be where it is now. So you do have 640 for your HEs. So very nice alpha. Very, very nice alpha. Aim time 3.8. Again, I don't think is bad. And the gun dispersion is actually very, very good at 0.269. You have 6 degrees of gun depression, so not the greatest of gun depressions, but you do also have 45 kilometers per hour speed. So stat-wise, I think it's a very, very lovely tank. Like, very nice stat-wise. So how does it actually play in the game? So it's a very difficult tank to know how to play, because it is one of those tanks that you can't rely on the armor as much, and you don't really want to be front line in this tank. A lot of people do play it front line, and they do wiggle, and they do make it difficult for the enemy team. But for me, what I like doing in the tank is to sort of sit back, get as much damage as you can, and then later on make your move, which is really what I do this game. But unfortunately, my team kind of vanish. Now look at the pen, even on the cheeks of that Jaegeru. A lot of tanks struggle to pen the cheeks of that Jaegeru. No, not with this. It pens it absolutely like butter. So also, with these kind of tanks, it's not just the Hori, but with these kind of tanks, there comes a time where you have to make your move, and you've got to judge that just right. You've got to judge the move right. Sometimes you'll get it right, sometimes you'll get it really, really wrong. Now, I do admit, this game, I probably do it wrong. I'll probably go into the wrong position, and I probably do mess up. So looking at my team, I've got 4 tanks around here, and then I've got a couple around there. Now, there is only one medium in the game, which is that T-54 there. So really realistically looking, I should have really gone to the left side and then flanked around. But what I've decided to do is go to the right side, where there's not really many shots that I can take because they are all hidden. I mean, the E100 there is hidden, the FV215B is hidden, the Badger was hidden, and of course the Jaegeru was hidden as well. So realistically, I should have gone around, and then I might have had a better chance. But I made my move. I've got to stick to it, and now I'm just like, okay, I'm there now. I've got to make my move. I do really want to go for the FV215B. I'm not too bothered about the E100 being there at the moment. I really do want to take care of this guy. So I do bring him down to a one-shot. The Badger is almost a one-shot, and I'm thinking, you know what, my IS-7 and my grill are both there. So they should be able to clear two of these guys and just leave me with this E100. Very, very easy, right? Yeah, that doesn't quite happen. If I was left with this E100 on my own, I do get a bounce, but I do mess up. And that's what I do very often. I should just stay aiming. If I would have just stayed aiming, I would have done a little bit more damage. But now it's a 2 versus 5 that you know, it's already a bit too late. There goes the Badger. But, you know, we're losing on supremacy points. It is a bit too late. And this guy does the right thing in actually dropping down. So I have got 3.5k damage. But again, this game is not just about the damage. It's also about the block damage. As you can see, we've managed to get a couple of blocks there. Another block from the Rhinoceronte. So that is now 1800 block damage. And it's damage that I didn't intend to do. Like, I didn't mean to go for that damage, or that block damage, shall I say. But at this point, 1 versus 4, I do get penned there, but I am going to get another block before we finish. And again, from the Rhinoceronte, and we do not at all go for that block damage. We don't try to get it at all, but we still manage to get it. And it's kind of like an IS-7. I know it's nothing like an IS-7, but nearly 3k block damage there. And what I mean about it being like an IS-7 is an IS-7, you get so much block damage and you don't intend to do it. It's not like you sit there angling. You just naturally get the block damage. And that's exactly what you can do with this tank. Of course, you can't rely on the armor, even though the front plate is strong, especially if you are kind of not angled as such, but moving about, wiggling about, you can get that block damage. And with it being 260 millimeters of armor standard, that is quite good armor. But if you are just sat there doing nothing, then yeah, people will aim at your weak points. You've got your lower plate, there's a strip at your lower plate, there's the side of your cheeks. There are a lot of weak points on this tank. So the bottom, I mean, there is quite a few weak points of the tank. So I like playing it, as I've said, I like playing it in this kind of position that our guy's at now, sort of sat at the back, farming some damage, and then you do have that speed to sort of move away pretty quickly, or to rush it into the enemy team a bit later on. And that's how I tend to play my game in this tank. Sit at the back, farm, be a tank destroyer, be a proper tank destroyer, then later on use the speed, use the mobility to get up close personal. Even if you are face hugging, wiggle. When you're face hugging, you will get bounces. So I think it's a very, very good tank. As I've said, I do think it's wrong with the alpha, with the standard pen only being, the standard damage on your standard AP being only 15 more than your premium. I do think that's wrong, but that is something I have said for a very long time. You may as well just use premium. You might as well. Like, if you've got the credits and you're not after credits, like me, I've got 200-300 million credits. It doesn't matter to me. I get the newer players, the people that are grinding, then yeah, it will be a struggle. But if you do a lot of damage, then you'll probably still earn credits anyway. So I still think it's a brilliant tank, fantastic tank when you put it right. When you put it in the right positions, you could do a lot of damage in this thing, and yeah, it can pay off. And then you can get a load of block damage along the way, even though you're not even intending to get that block damage. So far, our guy here, Illusion, hasn't blocked a single thing, but he has managed to farm up 4,000 damage. Now, there are 3 tanks left alive, and then he gets his first block. Again, he's not wiggling. he's not moving. He was just sat there aiming at that IS-7, and he still managed to get a bit of block damage. So it can work. It really, really can. So 2 versus 3. 2 versus 3. Now, this game can actually end, as I've said at the start of the game, it is a loss. Both games are losses, but both of these, or this one at least, can end in a win. But there is some mistakes out there. Not really his fault as such, but there is some mistakes. Now, like that one there, like the IS-7, it's very, very troll. Now, he finally pens him. The IS-7 actually finally pens our guy in the Hori. So he is reloaded. You can see he's trying to go for the weak point. He does just that, and he does take him out to bring it down to a 2 versus 2. 5,800 damage. Now, what he needs to do here, just to the left side, this T-57 is shooting. Now, just to the left here, the FV400-5 is also going to shoot, and he is actually going to take out this guy. But considering he has now shot 3 times, that is the 3rd time, and this is the 4th time, we now know that this FV is on a long reload. So he kind of has to ignore the T-57. I would be going for this FV. I would ignore this shot right now. I would completely ignore him, because now the T-57 is also on a reload. So if he would have ignored the T-57 to go for the FV400-5 and with HE, he could have easily killed the FV. Then he could have turned around. He would have already reloaded, and he could have also then taken care of the T-57. So a genuine mistake. I don't think he meant to do it, but still a fantastic game. And again, not even looking at the 8,000 damage, he still manages to do 2,500 block damage without even trying. So an amazing tank. It really is a good tank to play. And you just got to play it right. You've got to give it some love, and maybe you'll get some block damage just like we did. So let me know in the comments below what you think of the Hori. Let me know, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for joining, and catch you soon. Bye-bye.